The secret 2025 tech that could reverse climate change.
Mm.
Okay, wow. I gotta admit, the title from this Fun Facts article, it really, it got me, I was hooked. You know?
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
But we both know, right? Sometimes those big promises, they're a little too good to be true.
Right.
So we're diving in today, folks. We're taking a look at the Carbon Nexus engine.
Ooh.
The supposed miracle tech that kind of vanished almost as quickly as it appeared. Poof.
Yeah.
Gone.
Well, the interesting thing is the science behind it, it's not completely out there, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like converting CO2 into other things like fuel or chemicals. It's actually a really hot area of research right now.
Okay, so it's not just like pure fantasy.
Not exactly. But the article's claim, reversing climate change forever? Come on.
Yeah.
That's straight up marketing hype, even if the technology worked exactly as they describe.
Right. So the article paints this picture of 2025. Researchers are all excited, unveiling this engine, eats up CO2 and basically, spits out sunshine and rainbows.
Uh-huh.
And then nothing. Crickets. No more news. Websites are scrubbed. Like it never even happened. What gives?
That is the big question, isn't it? You'd think a breakthrough this big would leave some kind of trail.
Right.
Scientific journals, patents, something. But there's nothing. And that's what makes it so suspicious.
Okay, but let's just play devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah.
Let's say, just for fun, this thing did work.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't someone, somewhere be developing it, even in secret? Could they really keep it completely buried?
I mean, it's possible, I guess. But the bigger question is, what does working even mean in this context? You see, there are a lot of different ways to convert CO2, and they all have their own limitations. Some methods create fuels, sure, but those fuels still release CO2 when you burn them. Other methods might make useful materials, but to make a dent in climate change, we'd need to do it on a massive scale. It's not as simple as flip a switch, problem solved.
Right. It's complicated. So we've got this potential solution, could be amazing, and then poof, it's gone. And of course, the article jumps right into conspiracy theories. Powerful forces at work, hidden interests, the whole spiel.
Yes.
Are we even going to go down this rabbit hole?
Well, whether it's a conspiracy or not, history does show us that groundbreaking inventions have been suppressed before.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes for decades, because they threaten the status quo. Like, think about when the car came along, it was supposed to replace the horse and buggy.
Right.
It took decades for that transition to happen. And there were a lot of, let's say, invisible hands trying to keep things the way they were.
Right. Trying to hold on to the past.
Exactly. So, is it possible something similar happened here? Sure. But we need evidence, not just speculation.
And speaking of speculation, the article points the finger at, well, who else? The fossil fuel industry. I mean, if this engine's the real deal, they'd be the biggest losers, right?
Well, yeah, their entire business model is based on selling us fossil fuels, a technology that could replace that. They definitely put up a fight.
Yeah.
Just look at what happened with solar energy. Subsidies for fossil fuels, lobbying against renewables, even misinformation campaigns to slow down solar adoption. It's not crazy to think something similar could be happening here.
Okay, so maybe not. But we're still in what-if territory here.
Yeah.
And then the article throws this curveball. An anonymous scientist, leaked video, claims they saw the Carbon Nexus engine in action, working, emissions slashed, the whole 9 yards. Sounds like a classic whistleblower situation.
Well, that's the thing with whistleblowers, right? Sometimes they're heroes, sometimes they have an ulterior motive. It's really hard to know for sure without some independent verification. But here's something else to think about. Even if we take this scientist at their word, what would it actually take to implement this technology on a global scale?
Oh, right.
It's not just about building the engine. We're talking global cooperation, massive infrastructure changes, huge investments.
That's a really good point. I always get caught up in the does it exist question.
Right.
But even if it does, rolling it out, that's a whole other can of worms. This is way more complicated than the article makes it seem.
Exactly. And that complexity is often ignored. Think about it. There would be economic winners and losers, potential unintended consequences. Solving climate change is a lot more than just plugging in a new gadget.
Right. It's a whole system. So where does this leave us? We've got this big mystery, mind-blowing technology that disappears, whispers of conspiracies. What are we supposed to take away from all this?
Well, I think the takeaway is be critical. Don't just buy into the too good to be true narrative, but also don't dismiss the possibilities entirely. Do your own research, look for solid evidence, and think critically about the bigger picture. Because even if this technology does exist, what would the real world impact be?
Yeah.
How would it change our lives, our economies, our planet?
That's a great point. It's not just about the tech itself, but the ripple effects. So, to our listener, we've laid out the puzzle pieces as we see them. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Go digging, see what you can find, and let us know if you uncover anything juicy. We're dying to know.
Yeah.
Okay, until next time, folks, keep those thinking caps on.
Keep questioning.
We'll see you soon for another deep dive.
Bye, everyone.